In this video, I'm going to be taking a deep dive into the lovable demigod of the Suicide Squad, King Shark. I'll be looking at his past history in the DC Universe, gameplay mechanics, and digging through all three of his skill trees. Nanaue is one of the more noticeable members of the squad due to his curious appearance. Shark's mother was a human, but his father was the shark god Chondraka, a combination that resulted in a humanoid shark demigod with incredible strength, razor-sharp teeth, and the ability to breathe in and out of water. After learning of Superman, Amanda Waller began looking for a backup plan, a way to control or even beat Superman if it ever came to that. It was this search that revealed Chondraka to her. She captured him with the intention to turn him into a weapon against Superman, but he was too powerful and uncontrollable. Years later, due to his appearance, Shark struggled to fit in with the human race, turning to a life of crime. This is how he crossed paths with Amanda Waller, and was recruited into Task Force X. Now, Waller has set him on the mission that was possibly marked for his father, to kill Superman. To kill the Justice League. In Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, King Shark is a wrecking ball, crashing through enemies. He's proficient with assault rifles, shotguns, and heavy weapons, which he wields as if they were children's toys. For his melee, he wields dual cleavers, combat knives, or sickles, but very often he's not afraid to get his own teeth involved. For his traversal, Shark doesn't need any fancy toys to get around, bounding from rooftop to rooftop with nothing more than his own might. King Shark has two different jumps, a large bound forward or a massive leap straight up. He can also descend at any point to save him from overshooting his landing, coming down, smashing, doing damage into anyone unlucky enough to be below. He can also do 3 quick mid-air dashes for a bit of extra distance or to change direction mid-air. His Suicide Strike does a large amount of damage to a single target and also increases the shield harvest chance of all enemies within 20 meters. For his traversal, he does the Atlantean Drop, a spinning slam attack straight down, doing damage to a wide area. Now let's take a look at King Shark's 3 talent trees: Firepower, Strength and Dominance, and Power of the Ancients. I'm going to be going over every talent in these 3 trees, so if you want a closer look, feel free to pause the video at any time. Starting with Firepower, and its passive, which of course is called Firepower. With his innate strength, Shark can handle heavy weapons with ease. This increases heavy weapon stability and gives plus 20% heavy weapon damage. For tier 1 of Firepower, we only have the one talent, and that is Blood Frenzy, the special skill. Blood Frenzy activates at 5 combo or higher, and melee hits cause enemies to bleed for 50% of the damage dealt over 5 seconds, and successful counters increase the damage of your next melee hit by 25%. Going to tier 2 of Firepower, we have 3 talents to choose from. Punishing Strikes. Melee hits cause enemies to take 50% more damage from all sources, but melee cooldown is increased by 1 second. Firearm Aptitude. Increase firearm damage by 20%. And Splash Zone. Melee hits affect all enemies within 2 meters, but melee damage is reduced by 50%. Going into tier 3, we have another 3 talents to pick from. Heaviest Weapon. At 10 combo or higher, heavy weapon hits have a 50% chance to cause the enemy to bleed for 30% of the damage dealt over 10 seconds. Beachhead Battler. At 10 combo or higher, crit hit chance with assault rifles is increased by 20% on enemies within 20 meters. And Shotgun Typhoon. Shield harvest chance is increased by 15% on shotgun hits. Going into tier 4 and tier 5, both have 2 talents for us to pick from. Starting with tier 4, we have Cornered Shark. Each 3 seconds of sustained firearm fire generates 1 combo while in combat. An Unyielding Hunger. Each shield harvest kill increases the damage of your current firearm magazine by 20%, up to a maximum of 200%. Going into tier 5, we have Surf and Turf. Heavy weapon kills generate 3% shield, and Ferocious Jaws increase crit hit chance by 10%. For Firepower tier 6, we only have the one talent to choose from, Renewing Blitz. At 20 combo or higher, your last 5 crit hits add 25% of their damage to your next shield harvest attack. Tier 7 gives us 2 talents to pick from. Tidal Pool, damage dealt is increased by 10% for each enemy within 20 meters up to a max of 50%. And Devastating Bite. At 20 combo or higher, each time you deal damage to an enemy, it takes 10% more damage up to a max of 100%. Tier 8 only gives us the one talent to pick from, which is Blood in the Water. At 30 combo or higher, performing a shield harvest causes the enemy to bleed for 50% of the damage dealt over 10 seconds. And Firepower Tier 9 gives us two talents to pick from. Bullet Feeding Frenzy. At 30 combo or higher, damage reduction is increased by 5% for each second of sustained firearm fire, up to a maximum of 50%. This effect cancels after 3 seconds without firing. And Vicious Appetite. Shield harvest chance is increased by 20% on enemies within 20 meters. Going into tier 10 of Firepower, there are 3 talents to choose from, and these can be pretty big. First, we have Shark Rage. This is a special skill that transforms Blood Frenzy into Shark Rage. This requires 40 combo or higher and increases damage dealt by 75% and Suicide Strike build-up rate by 50%. Then we have Unabating Furore. Increases maximum combo by 20, and if the combo breaker triggers at 20 combo or higher, you regenerate 20 combo. This can only happen once every 60 seconds. And finally, for Firepower Tier 10, we have Unending Fury. This is a special skill transforming Blood Frenzy into Unending Fury. This requires 40 combo or higher and increases damage reduction by 25% and crit hit chance by 50%. Moving on to Shark's second tree, we have Strength and Dominance. With its passive, Strength and Dominance, this reduces the melee cooldown, gives 25% extra health, and every 5 combo increases damage reduction by 1%. Then for tier 1 of Strength and Dominance, we have 3 talents to pick from, starting with Meat Cleaver. Increases melee damage by 200% with less than 50% health. Ocean Blessing. At 5 combo or higher, melee damage is increased by 20% and shield harvest chance is increased by 10%. And finally for tier 1, we have Slash and Maim. Melee hits cause enemies to deal 50% less damage for 15 seconds, but melee knockback distance is reduced by 50%. Going into tier 2 and tier 3 of Strength and Dominance, both only have 1 talent for you to choose, with tier 2 being the Suicide Strike. Every character has a Suicide Strike, and they all serve a similar purpose, but they all have a bit of a bonus to them. Suicide Strike special skill. Suicide Strike is a powerful single target attack that can be executed after having built up enough Suicide Strike resource. Shark's Suicide Strike also increases all nearby enemies' shield harvest chance. So just like everyone else, he does a huge amount of damage to a single target. However, it increases all nearby enemies' shield harvest chance. Going into the talent for tier 3, we have a Domineering Presence. This is a special skill. Domineering Presence activates at 10 combo or higher and causes enemies within 20 meters to take 20% more damage from all sources, and Suicide Strikes generate 10% Atlantean drop traversal attack resource. Moving on to Strength and Dominance tier 4, we have 3 talents to choose from. Oceanic Defense. At 10 combo or higher, shield capacity is increased by 20%. Royal Dominion. At 10 combo or higher, enemies affected by Domineering Presence now deal 25% less damage. And Oceanic Focus. Successful counters generate 5% shield, and critical counters generate 10% shield. Tier 5 here gives us 2 talents to choose from. Royal Resurrection. 100% chance to cheat death and instantly regenerate 100% health and 25% shield. This can only happen once every 120 seconds. And Ocean's Reach increases the range of Domineering Presence to 30 meters. Tier 6 only gives us the 1 talent, and that is Top of the Food Chain. At 20 combo or higher, performing a shield harvest has a 100% chance to make another enemy within 10 meters shield harvestable. This can only happen once every 30 seconds. Tier 7 for the Strength and Dominance tree gives us 3 talents to pick from. We have Imperial Guard. Damage reduction is increased by 20%. Shark Tank. At 20 combo or higher, shield pickup amount is increased by 20%, and shield harvest chance is increased by 10%. And Churning Tide. At 20 combo or higher, melee hits generate 10% shield. For Strength and Dominance tier 8, we have 2 talents to pick from. starting with Domineering Strike. Performing a shield harvest generates 15% Suicide Strike resource. And Blood Dominion. At 30 combo or higher, performing a Suicide Strike generates 5 combo. Tier 9 gives us 2 talents to pick from, starting with Primal Assault. At 30 combo or higher, every 1 additional combo increases the shield harvest damage by 5%. And Wave Breaker. Suicide Strike damage is increased by 50%. For Strength and Dominance Tier 10, we have 3 big talents to choose from. Unchained Power. This is a special skill that transforms Domineering Presence into Unchained Power. This requires 50 combo or higher and increases damage reduction by 50% from enemies within 20 meters, but reduces shield pickup amount by 20%. Then there is Endless Rain. At max combo, melee hits generate 20% Suicide Strike resource. And finally, for Strength and Dominance, we have Powerful Strikes. This is a special skill that transforms Domineering Presence into Powerful Strikes. This requires 50 combo or more and increases your melee damage by 150% and your firearm damage by 50% on enemies within 20 meters. This still counts as a Domineering Presence effect. On to Shark's final talent tree, we have Power of the Ancients. Starting with its passive, which gives us the power to jump around. There are a few of the controls for the PS5, and for Tier 1 of Power of the Ancients, we only get the 1 talent, which is Nervous System. Every 10 combo increases melee damage by 10%, and combo generation by shield harvest kills by 1. Tier 2 gives us 2 talents to choose from. We have Strong Swimmer. The power of your vertical launch and apex pounce is increased by 25%. And Jump the Shark. Damage dealt while airborne is increased by 20%. For Tier 3 we only have the 1 talent, which is Land Shark. At combo 10 or higher, the Atlantean drop traversal attack damage is increased by 50%. For Tier 4 and 5 they both have 2 talents to choose from, with Tier 4 having Flying Fish. Every 5 seconds spent airborne generates 1 combo while in combat. And Crashing Drop. The area affected by Atlantean drop traversal attack is increased by 25%. Tier 5 gives us the choice between Streamline. Each aerial dash increases the damage of your next Atlantean drop traversal attack by 25%, up to a maximum of 75% until you touch the ground. Or Depth Recharge. Increases Atlantean drop traversal attack resource build-up rate by 25%. Power of the Ancients Tier 6 only gives us 1 talent to choose from, which is Drop and Destroy. At 20 combo or higher, hitting 3 or more enemies with your Atlantean drop traversal attack generates 1 combo for each enemy hit. Tier 7 gives us the choice of 2 different talents. Shark Recuperation. Every 2 seconds spent airborne, regenerate 1% shield. And Critical Drop. At 20 combo or higher, enemy kills while airborne generate 15% Suicide Strike resource. Tier 8 and 9 of Powers of the Ancients only give us 1 talent to pick, with Tier 8 being the Jaws of Life. At 30 combo or higher, melee hits regenerate 10% shield and 30% health. And like all characters, the Tier 9 talent is the Squad Ultimate. As I've said in all of these videos, this is not something we've seen so far in the alpha or the preview build I played, but we have had a chance to see the write-up here on the skill tree. So the Squad Ultimate is a special skill. Unlocks King Shark's ability to trigger the Squad Ultimate. This slows down enemies and locks down vehicles around the squad for 30 seconds. Activate it by pressing triangle and circle on the PS5 when the squad meter is fully charged. Using this ability depletes the meter for all squad members. And finally, for Power of the Ancients Tier 10, we have 2 talents to pick from. Ultimate Shark Strikes gives you 1 free Suicide Strike when the Squad Ultimate is activated. In addition, Suicide Strike damage is increased by 100% while the Squad Ultimate is active. And Ultimate Ancients Strength. Melee damage is increased by 150% while the Squad Ultimate is active. As you can see by his weapons, traversal and talents, Shark is set to be one powerhouse of a colossus, rampaging through the battlefield with the biggest guns he can carry. What do you make of King Shark? Is he going to be your main, or do you have your sights on another character? If you're still not sure who to main, check out my video here on who you should main. If you'd like to support the channel, you can join over on Patreon or become my first channel member. Links are in the description. Don't forget to subscribe for more Suicide Squad content and like the video if you enjoyed it. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.